We got two new characters for the Grand Cross PvP and PvE tier list. This is the current PvE tier list. I don't know if I'm actually going to change anything on the PvE one because it's not like there's any new PvE activities or anything. And this is the current PvP tier list. I'm going to make some changes to this one, but not that much. When it comes down to it, the two new characters don't shake things up that much. Like, there's no characters that became unusable because of them. But let's go to the PvE first because it's gonna be quick and easy. Meliodas is super good. He doesn't take away from, Trader Meliodas and all. That's one of people's biggest concerns. Is, there's a new character that's dark. How does he compare to Trader Meli? Is he actually better? Does he make Trader Meli unusable? No, they both have their own place, and this new Meliodas is incredibly good. New Valenti, though, is just not good. I mean, she doesn't do anything. Let me pull up Valenti. I feel like a lot of people... I forgot she released. Oh my god, I need to add her. That wasn't planned, by the way. I genuinely forgot this character released. Valenti. This is just... yeah. I mean, there's nothing... There's not much else to it. She just doesn't work in PvE, so she's gonna be bottom of the tier list alongside other characters that just don't work in PvE. It is what it is. Any character that just has no place in PvE at all should just be at the bottom. Like, there's no redeeming quality about this character. Her passive is just absolutely terrible for a PvE, right? And, I mean, the new Liz is so underwhelming. She's not, like, horrible, specifically like Valenti would be for PvE, where, like, she does something, right? But it's not good at all. So, like, I guess I'll give her this. No, she's just bad. She's just... You have to use her in the front. That's the biggest thing. You have to use her in the front. In Grand Cross database, it doesn't show it. I should tell the Grand Cross database that runs the website to put on like the symbols, but she has to be used in the front. And not only that, you have to give her crit defense gear for her to even work with her own passive. Like, you can just use her without it, and she won't get her passive, and the other allies might, if they have enough crit defense. But she won't get her own passive either. Her cards suck as well. Her cards are absolutely terrible. Like, she's a horrible character. This is a fill-in character. Super strange because the other two Liz's had a clear purpose. Like, Green Liz, when she came out, made no sense. Because Belmoth was not a thing yet. And then Belmoth came out and then she made sense, right? But this character, she's not doing anything. Like, she's a nothing burger. So, yeah, absolutely bottom of the tier list. Those were two skip banners before Meli, so, honestly, Grand Cross, thank you. I'm not putting down any characters, actually. I was gonna put down Liz, but I've seen a lot of really great comps using Meli plus Liz. Heal plus, he has his own cleanse, so that's great. I think, if a character can work for dogs floor 3, then they should, be up here. That's how I see it, right? So yeah, that's about it. I don't think any other characters really need to go down or anything like that. So PvP, right? PvP is the more interesting one. Well, Valenti, let's start with Valenti. I think she came out first, right? Valenti is okay. It's just one thing, right? No one's someone for her, so it's really difficult for me to really gauge how this should face a Valenti because I don't think I've faced a single Valenti in the hundreds of matches I've played since she came out, right? Her passive doesn't work on Ascador. And Ascador is the most used character in the game. Right now, there's a lot of players using Meliodas because he just came out. But Ascador is still number 1. Everyone that's using Meliodas is using Ascador in the back, right? So legitimately, for every single match that you play almost, she's not going to work. Her passive is not going to work. And you need to use her for a rank up character because her cards don't do anything on level 1. And characters with cards that don't work on level 1, both cards, right? You can have one stun card and then a card that does something. That's fine. if both cards don't work on level 1, it's already bottom for me. Like, that, I hate characters like this, that you're forced to use a rank up. I like using rank up. I don't mind using rank up, but I don't want to be forced to use a rank up for the character to even work. So, she's not a very good character. I thought that she would be a really great character for Guild Wars attack, because I thought, like, you know what you're facing on Guild Wars. You know the enemy defense team, so you know, okay, I'll pick Valenti. She's gonna lower the enemy crit damage, and my team's gonna be super tanky. She's gonna win me the match because of that. But I've heard reports from a few players that she's not that good on Guild Wars on the highest level. Like, her passive seems to not be really working or something. Like, the lowering the crit damage isn't doing anything, or isn't doing enough to bring this character to a high level game mode. Some other players might have different reports on that. I don't know. I've only heard from a few. Because I don't know that many, right? I don't really know that many. But from the ones that I heard, her passive just seems to not even be that good for the one game mode I thought she would be good for. But I can see her being good if you don't face an Escanor. It's just not enough. So I'll put her on competent. I think that's a good tier for her, alongside some characters that are usable, just not really great. Man, maybe I should put down some competent units. It's just, in PvP, if you bring Escanor and then you bring like Melascula, you're probably gonna win. One character can carry another, you know what I mean? So it's really hard for me to say. Like, I guess if you bring Escanor and you bring Yori, you're probably gonna lose. So that's like my distinction, right? So, Liz is terrible. It's just awful. I made like 2 videos on her initial release, and then I tried really hard to like make a point for her, because she buffs stats or something. She's just really terrible. There's no reason to use her. Again, unless she gets a really great Holy Relic, I don't see why she's even in the game. Like, I see what they were trying to go for, Valenti. Like, she's not great, but I see what they're going for. Before I get to Meliodas, I know I'm kind of rushing through this because, I mean, there's only 3 characters. Let me move some characters. Grimoire got nerfed. He was competent, right? So Grimoire required a lot of setup before the nerf, and I felt like he wasn't even sub-meta. Like, genuinely, I like the amount of setup that was required for you to make Grimoire work was really not worth it. It was fun for a video, me looking at the huge numbers this guy provided. It was really fun, but in like a practical sense, it was really hard to pull it off. Any enemy Escanor knows what you're doing. After like day 1, it got really hard to set him up. Really, really hard. People knew what you were going for, so they would just straight go for Grimoire. After Grimoire is dead, your whole setup is gone, right? So he wasn't really all that good, and they still nerfed him. It was really strange. I know they were like, oh, they nerfed him for Guild Wars, Guild Boss. Do I even have him ranked? Yeah, he's a complete dog shit now. He is absolutely unusable. He's probably the worst character in the entire game. Okay, that's a stretch. He's one of the worst characters in the entire game now. Very shame. He was a great unit that was free. I felt like it was like, a great thing that they did. Finally, again, giving a free character, which they rarely do. Like, they give us free characters. Like, they gave a free Brynhilder, right? That's one thing. They gave a character that is summonable, but they gave us a copy for free. That's cool. But a character that releases that is not summonable, that they just give for free, that's something that they don't really do that often. They did for like Dowdry. And I barely recall times they've done this. They really don't do this often. They did it for Grimoire, and he was a great unit. Shame. Also, I'm bumping up Green Chandler. Now he has a purpose. The new Meliodas with the Pierce card actually works well with him. Any of the demon characters remain there. I was gonna bump them down, if you recall from last tier list, but now with the new Meliodas, obviously I can't bump them down. the demons are on top again. I'm bumping down Margaret. I think she's the only character I am actually putting down. I've been thinking of putting down Mono Red. You can still win with Mono Red. That's the thing. Like, obviously you're not going to have the easiest time against Escanors, but you can still win. I might consider. Let me know what you think. Should I bump down Mono Red. I was thinking of Mono Green as well. It's just Meliodas cucks Mono Green super hard. But here's the thing. Where is he? Nanashi got a Holy Relic, which is great for unknown characters. Unknown characters in a great spot if you have Nanashi's Relic. Whenever I find him, give me a second. Found him? From competent, I'm putting him all the way to meta. And I know this is a big jump, and some people are gonna be like, you're joking, right? No, I'm not. Listen, I may have not made that many videos on this, but I faced a lot of Nanashi so far. The new unknown team with Nanashi is really cracked. You have so much stats that you can win against Ascanors, you can win against Meliodas, and you're probably having a better time than with Mono Red. Genuinely, like, your team is so tanky, your Ascanors aren't critting you very easily because of how much core resistance you have. It will just require RNG, which is why I might actually bump him down next iteration, depending on how things go. I've used Nanashi 2 times. I only uploaded, I think, 1 video on the relic, so if you don't know much about, like, performance on this relic, I'm sorry. I'll make more videos on it. It's just I've had other things to cover. Like, this end of year, we got a lot of cool stuff. Ascanor, Meliodas, that's the cool stuff, right? Nanashi has taken a backseat, but the relic is really, really good for the unknown team. If you've had unknowns built, right, I think it's a must as a back unit, because your team needs to be tanking Ascanors. You're not gonna full wipe anymore. Full wiping with Mono Green is dead, because Ascanor exists, right? Ascanor is not gonna get full wiped. So you're gonna need to deal with tanking the follow-up hits, and Nanashi helps with that specifically. So I think he's great. The new relic makes him like 10 times, obviously 10 times better than he was, but usable nonetheless. With that being said, I think I should also bump up Ram because of the stat combo they have going on. And where is it? Oh, it's already up here. Rimuru. I was gonna bump up. I thought I put down Rimuru. I was gonna bump up Rimuru. Rimuru is also in a good spot because of this whole situation. So unknowns with this one relic made a big difference. I didn't talk about the relic obviously in PvE side because for PvE makes no difference. Also Tonar got a relic, but she was already up here anyway, so it made no sense to like even say anything. She was already up there, right? Tonar's relic and Nanashi's relic were both really great. Please continue the good relic wave. We need good relics. Now, attack ceiling teams are in a great spot right now as well. Merlin plus Gaffer is really good against Meliodas. Because Meliodas actually, if you time it correctly, you can get attack seals on him. And he can't cleanse himself if he's attack sealed. Once you attack seal Meliodas, if he attacks you, it doesn't count for his passive. So if you time it correctly, you can attack seal Meliodas very easily. And Fraudulent needs to go up as well. I know the meta tier is getting convoluted. That's why I want to put down Mono Red. But it's just there's a lot of really good characters. I think... I just really think I should put down Mono Red. Well, I should put down Trader Meliodas actually. He's not really doing that hot. For the Demon team, I think you could still use Trader Meliodas for specific teams, but there is such a clear better option in the new Meliodas that there's really no reason why you'd ever use Trader Meliodas again for that specific team. And I think that's about it. The only things I'm thinking of putting down is like this whole combo here, right? These 4 characters. Like Reinhardt can still do stuff. It's just really hard to compete against a character that has a revive. Really hard. So, the new guy. Obviously he's gonna go at the top, but I thought, and I really am gonna go through this. I think that I must bring back the broken tier. These 2 characters are legitimately broken. They haven't really made characters that are broken in a while. A lot of players seem to disagree with that. When I say that the last broken character was Purgatory Bond, there's obviously been a lot of good characters since Purgatory Bond. But what I mean by that is there haven't been characters that legitimately made the meta all about them since Purgatory Bond. Every single character that has released that has been good had counters, right? They had other teams that were designed in a way that could counter them and would still work if you don't face them, right? With these two new characters, they are so leagues above that genuinely they are broken. They are what Purgatory Bond was when he first came out. They were what The One was when he first came out. They are legitimately broken. I use the word broken or OP for titles because obviously I have to, but when I rank characters, I try to be objective. These characters are a different level of, power compared to all the other characters in the game. So these two characters are, Asker for me is number one. I think he's number one. Melly is a close second. And when you use both in the same team, that's the way to go. You kind of have to. It was like, broken characters back in the day were The One, Goddess Liz, whatever. They were broken. If you didn't use them, you lost. And right now, if you're not using these two, you're probably going to lose. You're very, very probably are going to lose. So that's it. Let me know what you think. And, yep.